Question for you. Why do we say lions are king of the jungle when they don't even live in a jungle? They live on the plains of Africa. I don't get it. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ocean News by Speak Up for Blue TV. Today we're going to cover a different type of lion, a different type of king maybe. We're going to talk about the lionfish, which might actually be the king of the Caribbean now. I don't know. Let's take a look. The lionfish is a wonderful species. It's beautiful, it's so majestic, it's got a lot of colors, it's got a lot of frills, it's got a lot of spines, and it can be dangerous if you touch it. It's a very efficient predator, and it's known to be throughout the Southwest Pacific as just a very dominant predator. That's where it's supposed to be. Recently, in the last number of years, lionfish have been popping up all over the southeast United States and in the Caribbean, and have really kind of become the jungle, or the king of the Caribbean jungle, I guess if you will, in underwater. Lionfish, like I said before, are efficient predators, and when they were introduced a bunch of years ago into the southeast United States, Atlantic Ocean, and the Caribbean, they just proliferated. They proliferated because they were such efficient predators. They went after small fish, and they just dominated those small fish. They eat everything they could find, and it's actually reducing the population of those reef fish. Now, of course, this invasion didn't really happen right away. It happened over a number of years. There were times where you could dive in the Caribbean and you wouldn't see a lionfish at all. Now, every time I go in the Caribbean, I actually see one or two or more lionfish all around. They're not dangerous to me. I'm bigger than them. They kind of stay away from people and divers. However, they are very dangerous to the local fish population, especially smaller fish, smaller reef type fish that kind of are the building blocks of that ecosystem, of that food web. And what's happening now is you're seeing the driving off of a lot of other predators in the Caribbean, and the dominant predator now is the lionfish. What's bad about invasive species is they just take over everything, and that's what the lionfish has done. And the worst part is it's harder to take them out than it is to put them in, as always is the case. Right now there is a movement in the southeast US and the Caribbean to get rid of these fish. But how do you do that? Do you go in and dive and just spearfish them all? Or do you take trawls and you trawl them all together, you just scrape the bottom off and get rid of all of them, just like we do from overfishing? Well, obviously, the second reason you can't do. The second solution you can't do. You can't trawl the bottom and destroy all the coral reefs. So the big movement is to get divers to go in and actually spearfish these ones one by one, or get a bunch of them in a row, bag them, bring them up to the top, and now there's actually a movement even to eat them. So the figure is we're going to fish them, and we're so good at fishing that we're going to overfish them out to extinction in those areas. My question to you is, do you think this is the right thing to do? Do you think we should kill these fish because they're invading this area? Or do you think we should leave them be? I have my opinions and you have yours. I want to hear yours. You obviously heard mine. I want to hear yours and see what you have to say about this subject. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video on my opinion about this subject matter. So until then, subscribe to the channel just down below here. You're going to see any kind of article and any kind of movement or organization working towards getting rid of these invasive species on the southeast coast of the US and the Caribbean. And until then, thank you very much and happy conservation.